Are you new to real estate, or are you just looking for a quick refresher? You've come to the right place. I'm Cheyanne Terracciano, and this is The Road to Soul. Today, we are going to be talking about living our life with intention. And it's kind of a weird class to discuss because a lot of us, we go through our lives every single day thinking we already are who we are, right? We know what we're supposed to accomplish every single day. We know the things that we're supposed to get done every single day. We kind of know that our likes and we know that what our dislikes are, but are we really doing the things every single day that lead to the person that we want to be and the expectations that we happen to have of ourselves? And chances are that we don't really recognize that we're not living our lives according to the intentions that we really want. We're not achieving the goals we want to achieve. We're really not even being the person that we want to be. We're living a life more based upon habit, and we're living a life that has been created for us, sometimes unconsciously. And what we want to do is we want to take control of that. We want to look at our lives in a different way where we're living every single day with the goals to be the best person that we want ourselves to be, not the vision that somebody else has created for us, not something that our parents taught us as we were growing up that turned into a habit of behavior, not something that our children are expecting of us, not something that your partner, your husband, your wives, your friends, not something that somebody else, that because of expectations and the way that we work through those expectations have actually become our reality. And I think that for the majority of us, we reach this age where we live our lives in a form of automaticity, where we just go through the habits that we've been taught and that we've learned over the past years of our life. And that's so wrong. That's really what stops us from living our life in a way that we look back on and feel like we've lived the best life that we can live. And one of those things that I always think about when people ask me on my birthday, how does it feel to be 35? How does it feel to be 40? I turned 44 this year, and a lot of people start thinking that when you get older and older, they think that these birthdays become this like sad concept. But I've never minded getting older. I've never minded that next year. I've never minded when I turned 40, it didn't bother me at all. I don't think it's going to bother me when I turn 50. And I think the reason why my time that's passed has never bothered me is because I wake up every day with the goal to live my life with great intentions. I do what I want to do. I'm the person I want to be. I strive every single day to be the wife that I want to be, the mother that I want to be successful in the things I want to be successful, whether it's my health or whether it's the job that I have or the things that I want to accomplish. And I think that it's these accomplishments and this living my life with intention that leads to happiness, that leads to the life that you're wanting to live. And I think that so many of us don't live that life. You know, we wake up every morning and we put out fires. We wake up every morning and we do the things that are required of us. We make the lunches for the kids, or we have coffee the same way. We brush our teeth the same way. We do all of these things the same exact way we've always done them, which means that if you live your life in the same exact way of the habits that you've created for yourself, you're always going to continue to live the exact same life that you have right now. And I think sometimes we really have to ask ourselves, is this really the life that you want to live? Is this the life that you told yourself that you want to live and that your goal was to live? And if it's not, it's time to take control of that again. It's time to be the person that you told yourself that you were going to be, the person that you want to be. And I think it's important that we reformat that. Everything that you do every single day, you need to look at it all again and say, am I doing what I wanted to do today? Am I being the person that I view myself as being today? And doing that every single day, day in and day out, will become your new habit. That will become you. That will become the life that you intended to lead. You will be more fulfilled. You will be more successful. You'll be a better mom. You'll be a better wife. You'll be more fit. You'll be more healthy. You will be all the things that you want to be if you wrestle it and take control of your life and clearly define who you are as a person and what your goal is. And the reason why we're starting today with this particular class is because the reality of it is this is exactly what is going to lead you to become an amazingly successful agent. And it doesn't really seem like it, but it is, because a successful agent does what's required of them to equal a goal. They clearly define their business plan, and every single day they do the actions that's going to reach a business plan that equals success, that equals commission, that equals money. But you have to create this plan, and you have to know who you are as a person to be able to accomplish those goals that you have set in front of you. And I think that people really skip this step. They don't take the time to pause and ask themselves the questions of who they're trying to be. Who are they trying to accomplish? Where are they trying to go? And if you don't know where you are and you don't know where you're starting from, it's impossible to know where you're attempting to go. So let's dive into what this class is that I call Intentional Life. Okay, so this is a little bit of a visual. You have this person that's you in the center, and part of it is your identity. And then part of it is the self-worth that you attach to the identity that you've created. And the question can be pretty profound because it requires us to step outside of our habits of what our current existence happens to be and to spend some more time really thinking about who you are. And it takes a lot of reflection into yourself, into what you believe your identity to be, and the self-worth that you actually attach to the identity of who you are right now. So here are some questions. Who are you? Do you know that? Who are you to the core of your being? The next question would be, do you actually like you? Do you like what you look like in the mirror? Do you like how you feel every day? Do you like your accomplishments? Do you like where you're going? Do you like you? Do you like the you that you create for yourself every single day? And another question, which is kind of an important one for a lot of you, is, are you you? I think every day, sometimes we get up and we live a life that is not our life. We live a life that has been created for us out of those habits that somebody else applied to our shoulders. So are you you? Are you living the life that you wanted for you? Are you living the life that somebody else wants you to live to make their life better, right? Is it your life, or are you doing your every single daily existence on behalf of somebody else? So we're going to take a little bit of time to examine that. All right. So how do we establish what your identity is? There are three dimensions to how we understand and define the core of who we are. So most of the time, if I were to sit down with you guys one-on-one and I say, hey, who are you? You know, we meet at a social event. Most of the time, you guys are going to talk about things that are relational and independent. So you know that you're a man or a female. Usually you know what your gender is, you know what your race is or your ethnicity. You might list your achievements. You might list a body type, where you work, what your habits are. These are defining characteristics of who you are. They're your relational, independent characteristics. Then you have relational interdependent. These are connections with the people that are in your social circle. You can also list these. You're a husband or a wife or a partner. You're a mother or a daughter. You are a friend to certain groups of people. These are interdependent. This is who you are within a network of individuals that are in the current social circles that you have right now. This does not take into account whether you believe you're in the social circles that you want to be in. This is just where you are right now. We're taking stock of who you are as a person. I am a tall, white female who's a realtor, and then your relational independence. I am a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a daughter. This is the things that are going on in my life. The metapersonal is the last item, and that's your vision, your mission, your purpose, your faith. Some people, when you talk about who you are as a person, they can dive into this existentialism a little bit too deeply as well also. Like, are they living the life they're meant to be? Are they doing the things that they're meant to be doing as far as this purpose in life of why we're here? So establishing the core of identity is you just taking a moment in time to think about where we are right now, who you are right now, and trying to figure out as if these are the things that you want to be doing, or these are the things that currently are you. This is what's currently your core of your identity. And the way you perceive your self-worth is going to grow from these three things. So just kind of remember this as we move through to the next few steps of today. Okay, the ability to visualize our identity and connect with our identity is going to link with your reflexive consciousness. Do you even have thoughts about yourself? Do you think about yourself? How do you think about yourself? So we've talked about who we are. We've talked about the characteristics of ourselves. We've talked about, who the people that are in our lives. And do we think about those things, and how do we think about those things? Do we like them? Do we like the connections that we have? Do we like the relationships that we have? This is very important for us, is how we think about ourselves within the characteristics that we already know ourselves to be. So we know who we are as far as the basics go. We know who our relationships are. You can list characteristics about yourself. You can list your hobbies. You can list the things that you like. But do you like the things about yourself? How does it make you feel when you think about the characteristics of you? Do you have thoughts about yourself in connection with those other things that we've already listed? The next is your interpersonal relationships. So we have connections with people. Do we like the connections with the people that we have? What are our personal relationships like? Are they the personal relationships that we wanted to develop? Are they personal relationships that happen to coexist? Are the friendships you want the friendships that you're seeking? Are the friendships you want are the ones that are just built in because it might be your partner's friends, or it might be your kids' parents that you hang out with? Or are these people that you have a deep, meaningful life with? Are these someone that you can sit down and talk to? Or are they just connections that happen to exist in your life that we have accepted, which is a good thing? You know, we all want friends. We all want to meet people. We want to grow our social networks, and growing social networks is great. But are you growing them with a focus on who you want to be growing them with to meet your needs as an individual? The next question is executive functions. And I think that this is a really big one, is who is the ultimate influencer who shapes your actions and perspectives? And do you possess autonomy over your own life? And a lot of us don't. We don't possess autonomy over our own life. We are not the executive over our own lives. We're not making the decisions every single day when we wake up based upon how we want our day to go. Is it my day today, or was it somebody else's day today? Did you wake up and your day was completely taken over by everybody else's wants and needs, and you didn't accomplish one of the things for your own self? The chances are that you're not your own influencer. You are not your own executive over your own life. You've probably given this away to somebody else, maybe not 100%. Maybe 50%, maybe only 25%. So ask yourself, who has the executive functions of you in your every single day? And hopefully that is you. And if it is not you, we need to take a little bit better control of having the executive functions over our own life. We need to be the influencer over our own life. We need to shape our own actions and perspectives. We need to go in the direction that we want to go, not in the direction that somebody else is trying to make you go. This is your life, and it is time to take control of your life, to set up the goals and dreams and aspirations, and we're going to go down that road. And what you're going to find is the more control you take over the executive functions of your life, people are going to want to go in the same direction of you. So stop living somebody else's life and let them start deciding whether or not they're going to jump on this lifestyle with you and go in the direction that you want to go. And what you will find is, by being uniquely authentic to the true you, and you're taking the executive functions of your own life, and you have autonomy over your own life, and you have perspective over your own life, people are going to be attracted to the person who you are on the inside, and they're going to befriend you, and they're going to want to be part of your life, and you're going to grow your life in a direction and a path that was to your own making. And this is what we need to focus on. And it's not just a person. You know, I kind of have given a lot of attention to maybe this executive function, and are we the ultimate influencers of our life? We might have the tendency to think, you know, those little children that we have, kind of little monsters of our life, they take control of everything that we have. We have their sports, and we have their activities, and we're making them breakfast and lunch and dinner. Or maybe it is a partner, maybe it's a husband or a wife that's constantly putting expectations on you. So there's a people element of whether or not you're your own executive functions in your life. But there's also other elements to this as well, because there's social media, and there's advertising, and there's all these other things that are trying to steal your life from you and take all of the time away that you have from you. Your phones tell you every single week, you spent X amount of time on your screen today. You spent this amount of time doing X, Y, Z. There's a lot of things that are stealing your life from you that you don't really realize that is stealing your life from you. And it doesn't have to be a person. Sometimes it can be something else. So who or what is controlling the executive functions in your day-to-day life? All right. So here's where it comes down to. So we know who we are. We know what we're kind of trying to accomplish, but how do you really accomplish that? How is it that we believe we are who we are right now? And how is it that we can change this? Because it's a big change that we're asking ourselves to do, to live a life that we've established for ourselves. And why is our identity is what it is today? Why are we the way we are? Why do we do the things that we do every single day? Well, our awareness of our identity is actually established through our memories. So every experience that you have is going to become a moment in time in your life. It's been created. You have an experience, it's a moment in time in your life, and now it becomes a memory. It solidifies itself into that memory. And that is a feedback loop that's going to continue to feed back into how you think about yourself. This is going to be the way you think about yourself, and it's going to have a reaffirming action to how you think about your own self-worth, how you think about your own identity. All of these things are going to feed back into who you are as a person and how you feel about yourself as a person. I apologize, you guys. I have a couple people in the waiting room and I can't find them. Ah, there they are. Okay. So the core of your identity, who you are today, is based upon the experiences that you have created for yourself over time. And we have all of you guys in the class who either are 20 years old, you have 20 years worth of these banked experiences. You have 20 years worth of memories. If you're 30, you have 30 years worth of memories. You're 40, you have 40 years worth of memory. That is a long time that we've been the same person that we're trying to be. And that's a lot of feedback that's coming back into developing our self-worth and our identity. So in order to change that, we have to create the experiences that will create the memories and moments that you're going to begin to bank again. And then when you think about yourself and you think about your identity, you're going to become that new banked memory, right? So whatever experiences you decide to grow for yourself is going to become your new identity. So if you want to change in any sort of a way, you need more experiences that match what you want your identity to be, the person who you believe you happen to be every single day. So in its very basic form, let's say you believe you're a fit person, but you haven't gone to the gym in 5 years. Let's say you don't work out at all. You didn't go for the jog. You don't take the yoga class. You don't work out. You don't do the sports that you wanted to do. You probably don't believe you're a very fit person. You probably don't believe you're an athletic person any longer. You probably don't believe that that's something that fits into your personality, but you want it to. You want fitness to be a little bit more in focus in your life. You want to be healthy. But you just ate chicken nuggets yesterday and then In-N-Out the day before that and Chick-fil-A the day before that. So when you think about whether you're a healthy person, you might not believe that you're an exceptionally healthy person because you don't remember that being something that you've gone through over and over again. So you need to recreate the experiences to become a memory in order to change the way you think about your identity, because then that's what you're going to be repeating to yourself. So if you were to start going to the gym, and you went to the gym 3 days a week and you do that for 3 months straight, that's going to become your new memory. So then when you think about your identity, you're now going to start believing yourself to be a person who believes in exercise, who believes in fitness, who believes that they are strong and they can lift the weights and they can do the things that they're trying to accomplish. But the reality of it is we're not taking the time to form the experiences because we are too busy living that life that you are in a rut that you have created for yourself, right? You are living this habitual life of your past experiences, which means you're going to continue to keep reliving that life over and over and over again. And nothing's going to change in your life. Nothing's going to be better. Maybe nothing will be worse, but definitely nothing's going to be better because you're going to relive the same life you've lived for the past 20, 30, 40 years. So we really need to start establishing some better experiences for ourselves based upon the identity that we want for ourselves. And this is where the problem really lines up with today's class is I don't think we've taken the time to identify what our wanted identity to be. And it's not like I'm trying to be someone different, and I don't want you to be someone different. I want you to search the inside of your soul to the person that you already know you are in your heart and your soul. You feel it every day. You're just not living that life, right? You're not doing those things, and it's time to start doing those things because then you're going to live the life the way you want to live the life. Your identity is going to become the life that you want to live, and your self-worth is going to skyrocket. And that's going to help lead you to be having a successful life, and it's going to lead you to having a successful business. All right. So I want you to imagine that you're like a file folder on your computer. So if I have a file folder of myself on the computer, it's called Cheyanne Terracciano. And within that file, nestled up, I have a file of all of the things that I believe of myself. So I'm a wife, I'm a mom, and inside those file folders are the experiences that make me believe about myself, that file folder, right? So as a mother, I think about all the experiences that I've had with my kids that solidifies whether or not I feel like I'm the mom that I should be with them. And nestled within that mother folder are all of those experiences that solidify me as whether or not I feel like I'm a great mom or not a great mom. Well, you have other file folders too. You're a realtor. I personally am a little bit of an investment geek. I love stocks. I love real estate. I like buying and flipping houses. I love to coach. I love my friends. I love to cook. I love to read. These are all the things that I believe myself to be. This is the core of my identity, are the things that happen to be on the screen. If I want to change my identity, or not change it, but I want to tap into something that I believe about myself that maybe is not there, I have to add that file folder to my computer, and I have to start banking some memories within that file folder. So you might have a bucket list of things that you want for yourself. Let's say fitness becomes one of my file folders that happen to be on my computer. I have to fill up that file folder with something. I can't have a blank folder on my computer with myself because it's never going to have anything in it. I'm never going to identify with that whatsoever because I've not banked any of those experiences. So think of yourself as a file folder and think of, if you are thinking of yourself, which file folders do you want nestled under you? And let's start filling up that file folder with as many memories as we can, because we need that feedback loop. We need to have this self-worth that's built around these things that happen to be there. So at the very core of everything, the experience and the moments that you create for yourself become a memory, which becomes your identity, which is going to equal your self-worth. It's going to equal how you feel about yourself every single day. And there's people sometimes when I talk to them on an individual level, they may not feel like they have a strong identity, or they may feel like their life isn't where they want it to be, and they have a very low self-worth. They want to change that. They don't understand how it is that they've gotten to the point where they happen to be at. But you need to realize you have complete control over this, complete control over this. You just need to recreate the experiences and moments that are going to circle back into that feedback loop to make you feel that self-worth come back through again. So let's start building those experiences and moments. So you are your experiences at the end of the day, especially if you can maintain them for a long period of time. That's kind of a key, is you have to have these for a long period of time, which means you are your habits. So if you consistently have the same experiences, you go to the gym every single day, that's going to become an ingrained habit, right? That's your new habit. So all of these things are what's going to create your identity. That's what's going to create your self-worth. But this is exactly the feedback loop that is also going to make you a top producing agent. Every single one of you. So you will have to establish experiences and moments that build you up as the right agent to be the most successful agent, the most active agent that you can possibly be based upon the criteria that you define for yourself. You need to turn those actions into habits, and that's going to really lead you to success in this career. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about habits. Habit formation is the process which your behavior through regular repetition is going to become automatic. And that's what we want. We don't want to have to think about it. We want it to become automatic. We want it to be habitual. But your life right now is already set on automatic. So every single day you get up and you start living this automatic habitual life, and you have to stop that. From the moment in time, from when you set your alarm, from when you wake up in the morning, you need to reshift and refocus every single thing that you're doing to be true to the authentic self that you're trying to create for yourself. So you have to break the habits that you have, and that can be tricky. But we're going to establish new habits in their place, habits that are going to get you to where you want to go for your life, your business, your relationships. And we're going to change the way we live our lives from a day-to-day perspective. So here's what we have to understand. Regardless of the pattern of your life right now, whatever your day looks like, regardless of how you build it, you're in a rut that you have created for yourself. 100%, you've created the life that you have. You've created that rut that you're in by the habits that you perform every single day, and you're in a life of your own creation. But the beauty is you can change this. You can create new habits that will equal the life that you want and the places that you want to go. So how do you do that? Well, the initial habit may be initially triggered by a goal that you've set for yourself or an expectation that somebody else has put on you. But over time, that goal became less necessary. That expectation was less necessary, and the habit became automatic for you. Okay? So this process can be extremely slow, but it can actually be pretty quick as well. So when you do research on habits, the average time it takes you to reach a period of what they call automaticity is 66 days. But the range of those days is 18 days to 254 days. That is a huge discrepancy. Why is there such a big discrepancy between how long it takes us to form a new habit? It's based upon the result that we're getting from that habit. If you'd like to become addicted to sugar, it's a very easy habit to acquire. It only takes a few days for that sugar to kick in. You get a little bit of a sugar high, makes you feel great. Same thing with caffeine. Caffeine is an easy thing to become addicted to, and it's an easy habit to get into. Going to the gym, working out is probably not too bad because you start to see the results of working out, right? You go to the gym for 3 weeks, 3 months, whatever the case may be, you'll lose a little weight, you'll feel a little better. That's a habit that could take maybe somewhere in the mid-range. Then there are things that are extremely hard to do, and that's because you don't see the result of your hard work. That takes quite a bit more time. So there are a lot of things that could take you a year to become a new habit because you don't really see the effects of what you're doing, so you give up on it, right? So some of these habits and expectations that we have in our life are created and they're already inside of us. So let's go with like an easy habit, right? And understanding whether the habit was created for you, whether you created the habit. So if you think about growing up, your parents gave you a habit of brushing your teeth in the morning and before you go to bed. It was because someone layered an expectation on you. They gave you some reasoning behind it, and they forced you to do it every single day, and therefore it became a habit that was solidified over time. Now, there are a lot of expectations that have been placed on your shoulders that have become your natural habits every single day, but you really need to analyze whether or not that expectation and that habit is one that you wanted to be a habit, right? And whether or not you're going to break that habit. There's some other easy habits that we set for our kids all the time, and I try to catch myself on this because I'm pretty notorious for this. But let's say your kids do something great. You finish school, you get out of your last day of 8th grade. It's exciting. You want to celebrate. It's always, let's go get ice cream, right? Why are we establishing a habit of success anytime you have something successful to layer that with a bad habit like eating ice cream or something along that line? Like, why are we doing that? Why is that the goal? So we've paired everything good that we do with, oh, let me go get something, let me have a treat for that. Or same thing, I'm having a bad day and I'm going to feed that with food that's not good for me. It's the weirdest thing in the world. Why does this habit exist anyways? It's because we've established that, right? Our parents established that for us. So we're having a bad day. I'm going to go get a tub of ice cream, or I just really need a coffee to get through my day, or I just really need XYZ. There's lots of little weird habits that we've established over time that may be bad habits that we happen to have. And obviously, I talk about fitness and food a lot because they're so easy for us to recognize. But there's other habits that you have that are terrible, terrible habits that we've set ourselves up to do every single day. And one of the habits, and we'll talk about this in continuing classes as well, is by not doing the biggest tasks that we need to accomplish first. That's a bad habit, right? Sometimes we knock out the easy things first instead of doing the hard things. Or sometimes we do non-dollar productive behavior because it's easier to do something else. We don't focus on the most important things first. That's a bad habit that we happen to have. There's lots of things that you do every day that are bad habits that you really need to rethink. And then you also need to think, okay, well, while I'm creating these new habits for myself that I know are good for me, right? I know I'm going to create these great habits. I'm going to become a person of action. I'm going to do all of these great things. I'm going to make my list and I'm going to follow them to a T. But you stop following them at some point because it takes so long to see the success of those habits. You can't do that to yourself, right? So you have to understand that throughout these classes, I'm going to be teaching you ways that you can become more successful. And some of them we're going to talk about, posting to Instagram, posting to social media. We're going to talk about doing mailers. We're going to talk about doing a whole bunch of other things. And I'm just going to say, do it. You've got to keep doing it. And you might do it once and you might do it twice, but by the 10th time and no one's calling you, you stop doing it. You'll stop sending those mailers. You're gonna stop doing open houses every single Saturday because you haven't got a lead yet. You're gonna stop following up with those Zillow leads that come in because you know what? None of them have worked yet. Well, as soon as you stop, you're stopping that habit formation. You're stopping your success. It doesn't matter whether you're seeing it today or not. The goal is that it's happening and you're creating something that you need to stick to. And you need to dedicate yourself to that. And you need to have an understanding that it takes a long time to create these habits. Give yourself a year. If you do something for a year and you don't notice a difference, then okay, maybe we'll accept defeat that that's not working yet now. That's not working for us at all. Maybe that's not meant to be in our life. When you hit a year and you're not seeing your new habits create fruit that you're trying to get it to create, fine, okay, a year. But you can't give something 2 or 3 weeks and expect success. We need to take a long time to do this, right? And that's what we're gonna work on in these classes together. And it's interesting because a lot of these things you see in history, but Aristotle has that famous quote that really ties into this. He says, "We are what we repeatedly do. Excellence then is not an act, but a habit." And this quote is interesting because I think a lot of us have heard it before. We think about it a lot, and we think about the word excellence that's in the center of that. It's not just excellence. It's everything. You can take out that word excellence and put anything in there, right? You can put anything in there and become better based upon the habits that you're creating for yourself. Okay, so what happens to us? And I think this is really where we are right now. And especially, well, it's where we are, it's where all of us hit. We hit this frequently in our lives. And it can be whether you're younger and maybe you haven't developed your sense of identity yet, but it also can be maybe an agent who's been in the business for 10 or 15 years. They get to that point where they kind of just get tired, right? They haven't reestablished their identity over and over and over again. And things start just becoming meh. Like you lose your desire, right? Lines get blurred of who you really are and who you wanted to be, and are you being that person you wanted to be? So you experience what I refer to as like a blurred lines or a loss of identity. Not because you've changed who you are, but you're just not being that person for a variety of different reasons. So let's take some stock of why you have a loss of identity or why the lines can get blurred in our lives. The first one is you might not be taking the time to actually think about yourself. And this happens to all of us because we're so busy all the time. You just get up and you hit the ground and you start running. You're not thinking about yourself at all. What were your goals for today? What did you tell yourself you wanted to do today, this week, this month, this year? You haven't thought about yourself in a while. Maybe you're too busy thinking about other people. Maybe you're too busy just living that life of automaticity. You're just doing the same things you've always done because it is just a habit. You're not really taking the time to think about yourself. Now that's an easy one because you are the experiences that you're creating for yourself, and you need to take time for some personal development that fills up your soul and being the person that you want to be. So you need to think more about yourself. Maybe do it every morning. That's why they say this morning check-in, whether it's 5-minute meditation or whatever it is. You need to think about you. Don't just get up and run straight into taking care of the kids or the husband or the wife or whatever, or the to-do list that you had. Think about what you wanted to accomplish for yourself today. That's important. Don't lose that sense of identity to yourself because you have other things going on in your life or you're just refusing to take the time to think about yourself. The next one is you don't take time to focus on relationships with friends, partners, mentors, parents, social circles. And I kind of touched on this a little bit earlier. I think we fall into our relationships. We accept relationships that are presented to us. And that's good. Not only is that good, but that's great as a real estate agent. We need more people in our lives. We need to socialize with everybody because we like everybody. We like people. They're going to be our source of business. Having more friends more frequently is a good thing to have. But there's an element that's missing on not focus on building relationships with people who want to be on the same train as you, going in the same direction. So what I'm talking about is I'm saying you need to be in a social circle that makes you want to be a better person, that makes you want to be a stronger person, that makes you want to be a better mom, or makes you want to be a better realtor. It makes you want to be a more savvy investor. It makes you want to do the things that you wanted to do for your entire life and you're not doing them. You know, there's all those sayings about you are an amalgamation of the 3 people who you spend the most time with, or the 5 people that you spend the most time with. And that is so true. If I spend my life every single day hanging out with people who their only goal is what time we're going to go drink on Thursday afternoon or Friday afternoon, or what we're going to be doing on Saturday that also revolves around alcohol or some type of fun that we think is just going to make that week a little better, right? They're doing something on the weekends, whether it's an exciting moment in time. And what they're doing is they're just trying to get a break from life. I want to build a life I don't want to break from. Does that make sense? I'm not looking to go out and go drinking on Friday night and Saturday night because you know what? It kind of doesn't make me feel good. It gives me a headache. I sleep in a little longer. And it didn't accomplish not one thing that I wanted to accomplish to myself except for lost time to my life and a big headache, right? Where are the people that think like I do? Where are the people that want to buy and sell real estate? Where are the people that want more clients, more friends? Where are the people that want to earn $500,000 or $1 million in gross commission income? Because those are the friends that I want. I want the ones who wake up in the morning with me on Saturday morning and we go grab a cup of coffee because we're going to focus on what we're going to do on our social media channel today. I want the girlfriend who's going to go to a house with me on Saturday just to help me take videos inside of that house so that we can use them for content building later. I want that one, right? Oh, maybe we'll have a glass of wine here or there, or maybe we'll have a drink here and there. Well, I'm not just saying we're going to get rid of all of the fun that we have built inside of our lives, but where are the people that want to grow like me? Where are the people that have the same direction like me? And we're too busy existing in pre-existing relationships that we don't take the time to find those mentors. We don't take the time to build those relationships with the people that we think are just like us. So this is why sometimes when I started this class, I said, look, if you're on Zoom, Zoom is great, right? There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes pop into the office, be a part of this class that happens to be in there as well, because you're going to meet people that are darn sure trying to go in the same exact direction that you are. And they're hearing the same things that I'm telling you today. And they say, you know what? We're going to do this and we're going to do this together. You get my back, I get yours. Let's go take some video content. It doesn't have to mean anything. You don't have to say anything. Just get the content created. Let's go take some pictures somewhere. Let's drive around the valley. Let's drive around great neighborhoods and let's take video content. And you know what? We can even share that video content. So you go take that neighborhood. I'm going to go take this neighborhood. Let's go take videos and pictures and let's create some folders together where we all have video content that we can pull from. Let's be better people together. Let's make each other be better people. Instead of just having the relationships that we've been presented, and again, that's not bad, but you all know we're friends with our partner's friends because they're your partner's friends. They may not actually be like you. You like them, but they're not like you to the depths of your soul. You may be friends with your children's parents, but they are not like you, right? They're not you. Well, maybe they are, and if they are, great. You found a great friend. But I want you to spend some time, really analyze who is a mentor in your life, and you know what? Go spend time with them. I want you to really analyze the social circles that you put yourself in every single day and ask yourself if that social circle is making you be a better person. Not a better person. Is it making you be you, right? Are you being your authentic self when you're with that social circle, or do you really not enjoy the person you are when you're with that social circle? Maybe you need to expand your social circle or create a few more social circles. Nothing wrong with the social circle you have. Great friends are great friends. But we need to establish a few more that fills the needs that you're trying to create yourself, right? Okay. Then analyze whether or not you have control over your own decision making, or are you burdened by somebody else's decisions over your daily life and you need to stop that. Sometimes I think the reason people say you have to have that 4 a.m. morning or the 5 a.m. morning and you have to get up super early or you stay up super late is because the time becomes your own, right? You realize that? And like once everybody wakes up and once you're around hundreds of other people, whether you're in an office or you're in town, everybody else starts just presenting fires to you that you have to put out. That 4 a.m. morning, the reason why that works is because it's only time for you. Or same people, if you hear people say that they stay up really late, it's because they really like that time with their own mind and their own thoughts. Maybe they're using it to watch TV or whatever the case may be. But when you wake up at 4 a.m. and you start working on you, it's because nobody else is taking away your thoughts for that day. And I think that's super important. So it doesn't have to be 4 a.m., but you do have to dedicate some hours in the day to think only about the goals that you were trying to create for yourself, right? So take control over your own decision making. If you can do that in the middle of the day, great, but it's difficult because you have so much other inputs coming at you, but you need to get control over your decision making. All right, what else? How else can we have blurred lines and loss of identity? Well, we overfocus on things. Maybe we spend too much time focused on just one aspect of our identity, right? So we have all those file folders that we believe about ourselves, whether we're a wife, a mom, whether you're a golfer, whether you're a whatever, you name it, list your folders. If you spend too much time on one and only one, what happens? Well, the other ones start getting a little lost, right? You can't be 100% in every single file folder, right? Maybe you are going to be 20% in every file folder, but either way, you're going to lose identity in the file folders you don't spend time on of yourself, right? So there's aspects of your personality that you're going to let slip because you're too busy doing something else. And that can happen. That can happen. Lives are busy. And which leads us to our last one. You're busy. You're very, very, very busy. So if you get this feeling of an internal overcrowding, you're also going to start feeling a loss of yourself because you're too busy dealing with everybody else's lives that you are literally not focusing on you. That's it. You've given your life over to the busyness. You've given your life over to the things that everybody else needs from you, and you're not spending time thinking about what you need from you. And this is kind of a difficult concept because you think, I'm so busy, I don't have time for me, right? But you kind of do. Because if you stop doing the things that you don't want to do, or you stop doing the things from people who are trying to assign you a task that you never wanted to take on, just draw the line in the sand and say, that's my hard line, that's my hard no, I'm not doing that because it's not in line with where I want to go. You're going to find more time for yourself. And you've got to figure out which one of these overburdened things that are hitting your shoulders that you just need to stop and say, no, that's not my burden to take on, and I'm not going to do it. That's your job, or that's somebody else's problem to deal with. That doesn't have to be ours, right? We can't take on everybody's burdens. We can't take on everybody's challenges. We can't take on everybody else's lives. We can't put out the fire for everybody. We are going to take control of our identity by focusing on us and the fires that we want to put out for ourselves. And honestly, everything else just falls into line after that. You'll find that the things get done if you focus on you first. It's almost like reprioritizing it. So if your list of fires or your list of busyness goes from 1 to 100 and you have yourself at number 100, focusing on you is always last. We're number 100. I'm just saying we're going to take us and we're going to move that number 100 to the number 1, and your list is still there and it will still get done. I promise you. We're just going to resort that list a little bit more. Okay. So who owns you? Who owns your identity right now? And I think that we need to think about that. Who owns your identity? Because if they own your identity, they own your self-worth. They own the way you think about yourself every single day. So if the thoughts that you think every single day and every single morning when you wake up are somebody else's thoughts, then you're living somebody else's identity. If your behavior, your actions every single day, the hobbies that you do every single day are somebody else's hobbies, those are somebody else's actions that they wanted to take that day, then you're letting them control your identity. And you don't think so. But remember, controlling your experiences is controlling your identity. That is controlling you. So when you get up in the morning and you're taking on somebody else's hobby, somebody else's day, even what they wanted to do for fun, that is taking over what you wanted to do, what you believed. That is 100% somebody else's identity. You're living somebody else's life. That's not what you wanted for yourself. That's what you gave to somebody else. If your attention is given away from the identity that is true and important to your self-worth, then who is it that you're giving it to, right? Who'd you give it to? So ask yourself, what is more precious than living the life that you wanted to live for you, right? So if somebody else is making your decisions and they own your self-worth, they literally own you. Doesn't feel like it. And you don't realize it. But now that we're talking about it, you darn well know that you feel that, right? Or maybe you don't feel it every day. Maybe you have a great identity. Maybe you have a great self-worth. Maybe all these things are great, and that is wonderful. But there are people that have shifted this, or there are times that you have felt this, and this is why you're feeling this, is because you're going through a period of time. Maybe it doesn't last you every day. Maybe it's not all year, every single year, where you feel like your identity is not quite where it should be, or your self-worth is not quite where it should be. But you'll go through a month. Maybe it's only a week. Great, good for you. Maybe it's 3 months or 6 months that you feel this way, like something's not right with your life and you can't get it right. This is where these experiences happen to be coming from. Okay. All right, where's the other place that this can be coming from? And this is a pretty big one right now. There was a book that was written by David Schenck. I've talked about this in many classes before. The book was written back in 1997. And he says, look, we're in a revolution of information technology. And we all know this, right? And it is shaping our world. There's so much data available to us on the internet that it makes it really difficult for us to sift through it and separate it, whether it's true or false. We literally have no idea. We're just taking in data, right? Constantly. There's a barrage of information to us every single day. Communication is instant. Knowledge is abundant. He refers to it as something called data smog. It's an unexpected, overwhelming feeling. It's a part of our atmosphere. It's part of being in this information age that we're currently existing in. So in 1971, the average American was targeted by about 560 daily advertising messages. So 1971, you're talking about driving around in cars, seeing billboards, seeing storefronts, seeing magazines and newspapers, television ads. That's what you're looking at in 1971. There was 560 daily advertising messages that made you pause even just for a second or a minute or 5 minutes to think about their advertising message. Not the thoughts that you wanted to think today, but about the advertising message that that store wanted you to think about today. Something they wanted you to buy, something they wanted you to think, something they wanted you to do. Your political beliefs, the way you think about religion, the way you think about your body image, the way you think about the world. Every single thing that we have in ourselves has really been created by somebody else, whether it was by our parents, by our schooling and education, by the mentors we had growing up, and by the advertising messages that you received, by the books that you read. Everything that you think right now may not actually be your thoughts. It may be thoughts that somebody else put into your mind and made you think about. And you thought about them so much that they became the things that you think, the things that you believe today, right now. So sometimes I think it's always an interesting thing for me when I hear politics on the news, or I hear somebody talking about any of the issues that we're faced with today. And I always have to pause and think, why do I think the things that I think? And are the things that I think actually true? Is this really a right thing to think? And I always try to force myself to think the opposite, right? Because you have to question your own thoughts sometimes. Are they really yours? Or is it a thought that somebody else tried to make you think? And advertising is that way. And it's only getting worse now because we have social media, and we are constantly bombarded by people on Facebook and people on Instagram and people on TikTok that are making these great videos of a life that is really not the life that they are actually living. That's the life that they want you to believe that they are living, right? We know that there's only a fraction of truth in the things that we're seeing on social media, yet they're bombarding us every single day and making us believe that that is 100% truth. Well, that's not my truth, right? Maybe not my truth. Maybe portions of it are true, but not all of it is true. But one way or another, these advertising messages are getting nestled in our own minds, right? So when we talk about who has control over your mind, is it you? We've talked about it being people before. Maybe we naturally thought it was an individual in our life or individuals in our life that maybe are taking executive control over our thoughts. But in today's day and age, it is also social media and it's advertising messages that are taking control over everything you think in your life, right? Now, it sounds a little bit negative in today's class that something out there is taking control over our ideas and our beliefs, and everything we think about is formed by the messages that we receive over and over and over again. But it doesn't have to be negative, because the reality of it is you guys are all real estate agents, which means that we're going to have a marketing and advertising class where we're going to be teaching you guys how to do social media. And what am I going to have you do is I'm going to have you bombard the minds of somebody else, right? Get your message out over and over and over and over again. And you have to be louder than the noise. You have to be louder than the other people. You have to be more frequent. You have to be there all the time. And you're going to create this reality of what it's like to be a real estate agent and what it's like to work with you and why you are better than somebody else, right? So it's interesting because we're looking at this from two different perspectives when we are becoming a real estate agent. Is one, understand who has your mind today now, and make sure it's you. Make sure the thoughts that you think are yours. And if you're being overburdened by social media, you're on Instagram too long, you just spent 20 minutes looking at a TikTok video of a cat and a dog with a human voice, it's time to turn it off, right? You can only watch so much TikTok videos of dogs talking, right? Turn it off. That's not what you wanted to do today. You didn't want to waste 30 minutes of your time watching TikTok videos that are not applicable to the direction that you want to go. But at the same time, we're going to look at social media and we're going to say, hey, I like this aspect of the social media. I can use that in my business, and I'm going to mirror it. I'm going to model that, and I'm going to recreate that, and I'm going to push that out, and that's going to become my business plan. Because we also know that although data smog sucks because you absolutely know it's taking something from you, but we also have to use this because it exists, and we're going to implement it into our own business, and we're going to understand the psychology behind it because it does exist. It's the life that we live in. So we have to be aware of it because we have to stop it from overtaking our identity, but we also have to utilize it as a tool to be able to boost our business in the right way, right? So we have two different functions that we're looking at when we're talking about these things, is we have to be aware of them, I think, is the biggest thing. All right. So that book was written in 1997. Now they say that the impressions that are placed on you reaches 10,000 impressions a day. Oh my gosh, that takes so much mental that takes so much mental processing of our time. It takes so much away from us. 10,000 impressions a day. And this also shows you what you're competing with is 10,000 impressions a day. So we live in a world that produces data and information so fast. And we live in a society that's transitioned from a point of information scarcity to one of surplus, from raining to flooding, right? This is why I feel like we are not really paying attention to the identity that we wanted to have for ourselves, is because there's too much chaos in our world. So we actually have too much information coming in, and we're not taking the time to slow down and identify and filter through all of that stuff that's coming in to create the right path of where it is that we're trying to go with our life. Okay? Feels a little bit like this, right? We have so many things that we know we should be doing constantly every single day, and we're bombarded by it, right? From the people in our lives, from as soon as you open your phone and you get the emails that start trying to take control of your day. Respond to me now. Respond to me first, not you, not the things that you want. Respond to my email, respond to my text message. Do the things that I want you to do for me first, not what did you want to do for yourself first. So you get this moments in time where this is what your life feels like when you wake up, right? This is it. Too much. There's too much information. And I kind of liken it to, I have a menu on the left-hand side. You guys ever go to Cheesecake Factory and try to order? It's like, you're kidding me. There's so much stuff here. I can't even look at this menu because there's too much to pick from. My brain is literally in overload. Okay, let's just go to Chipotle or In-N-Out. Like, I know what I want. It's easy. I know exactly what I'm going to get. I know exactly where I'm going with this. Sometimes a menu is just too big, right? So let's just clarify it a little bit and define what it is that we're trying to accomplish. We need to clear all of this out and formulate the path that we want. And if we're talking about the menu, it's what type of food do you like to eat? How healthy are you going to be on a day-to-day basis? I mean, I'll be honest with you, if I go to Cheesecake Factory, I haven't looked at the cheeseburger section in probably 10 years. I just don't. I know that's not what I'm going to eat. Same thing with the pastas. Like, I'm never going to look at that section because for my life, I don't eat pasta and burgers. It's just not my go-to. But I know where I am going to look. I probably only look at a few sections of that because I've itemized out to myself who I am as a person, what I'm trying to accomplish, where I can kind of focus a little bit more, which is the goal for all of us, hopefully being able to focus a little bit more. Kind of feels like this. And if you guys watched, I think about this when I watch like the Avengers, and there's that one point in the movie where they're all like running through the forest, right? So they're getting ready to go to battle, and this is what it looks like. You can't see anything. You have no idea where you're going, no idea where the path is going to lead you, no idea where the finish line is. You have no idea where it is you're trying to get to. And not only are you having to run through this stupid forest, but you're getting smacked in the face by branches, you're tripping, you're falling. There's no way you can move through this kind of a forest to try to get to your endpoint because there's too much going on. You literally cannot see the path, right? It's overwhelming. There's too much. But imagine for a second that you're not the person that actually has to run and sprint on the ground through this forest. You actually get to be Iron Man for a day, right? And you get to take that moment in time to just take off and get above that. Because how do you get through that? It's too hard. You need to get out of this. So you launch yourself in to thinking in a different path. And maybe it's going to open up a little bit more like this. You're going to push yourself through all the monotonous. Everyone who's trying to take your attention, you need to just shift it out of your way and find the path of where you want to go. And maybe your path looks like this. Maybe there's still going to be a few obstacles. Maybe there's still things that you have to get through and your view clears a little bit. But now you've got a little bit better definition of the path that you wanted to take. Like, you see where you want to go. And then you take it that next step and then you move out a little bit more and you go, I see now. I see where it was that I was trying to get to. I see the exact things that I wanted to accomplish, the turns that I needed to take. I know the turn that's coming up in 3 months from now, in 6 months from now. I'm prepared for it because I moved all of the things that don't matter. I moved out all of that extra stimulus that was in my way, and I only focused on my absolute goals of where I was trying to go. And that's what we're trying to accomplish, is you need to move yourself into that stuck feeling and that overcrowded feeling and everything that happens to be there, and dial into who you are, who you want to be, the goals that it takes to get you there, and to be true to those goals and those goals only. And when those branches get in your way and you're running through this life and you've got to move them out of the way. You've got to refocus on what your goals were for that day, that week, that month, that year. You had things you wanted to accomplish and there's something in your way and you need to move it, right? You need to focus on you. Okay. So we need to create habits that are going to align with the vision that we have for ourselves. You have to. You have to have the habits that align with the vision of yourself. So we have plans for ourselves. We've always had them. We've had dreams. We've always had them. But because of immediate gratification, external motivators, social media, old habits that were not your own, you're doing it because your parents had an expectation of you. You're doing it because your husband and wife has an expectation of you. Your kids have expectations of you. Marketing and advertising is taking over your life. And it is shaping your behavior more than your best desires for yourself. So even though every single day you have intentions to be the best person that you can be, and you have good intentions and smart intentions and right intentions, you're still not really controlling your actions. This is the key. Your actions, every single action you take needs to meet the intention that you want to meet. It has to. So if your actions in any moment in time is not meeting your intention for where you wanted to live your life, you need to stop that action. right? So the moment, back to health and fitness, let's focus on this. The moment you have the bag of Doritos in front of you and you go to take one, you go, hey, is this action meeting my fitness goal? Obviously, the answer is no. You're going to put the Doritos down. When you are on social media and the dog video comes up with a human voice, for heaven's sakes, check in with yourself and go, this is definitely not it, and turn it off. Because every action you take in opposition to who you want to be is a step further away from your success. You're stepping backwards. You're not going towards your destination. You're going away from your destination every single time. So we need to stop doing things that are in opposition to the person and the life that you intend to build for yourself. I want you to show up in your life every single day with the person that aligns with the identity that you know yourself to be. And half of you have that identity in you, and I know you have it in you and you feel it inside of you, but your outward appearance and your outward life is definitely not the vision you had created for yourself. I guarantee you none of us when we were 16, 17, and 18 years old, when we thought about living our life, was a life that was just not perfect. We had goals of success. We had goals of the way we were going to look and act and the house we were going to have and everything. We had that vision. And I don't think we're living our life to the way that we want to live it to. So I believe that we need to have that come out more. I want to see more of you. Whatever the you is, you've got to be that you. Next, I want you to be fully present in life because there's too many distractions, right? So for example, back to that whole blurred vision of our identity. And I said, there's an overcrowding in our mind because we're so busy, we literally can't do the things that we wanted to do. Sometimes it's about being present, right? If you can get the overcrowding out and be more present in life, the experiences that you have for those experienced times are going to become more meaningful to you and they're going to become better to you. So for example, like let's say you have to take your kids to their sporting events, right? Kenny and I are mid sporting events with the kids all the time. We're so busy with that. So that means that maybe instead of being on my phone when I'm with my daughter at her dance competitions, and she's sitting right there, she's right there. And the reality of it is you only get 17 or 18 years with them and they're in college. You don't even get that, to be honest with you. If you have kids that are 14, you're almost done. You're almost done being able to spend time with them because as soon as they get their driver's license, you actually don't get to see them anymore. You don't get that 10 minutes in the car with them, taking them to practice. So being present with them and not thinking about the negative things in your life or not thinking about your to-do list or getting on your phone to do whatever it is that you're going to do on your phone, put it down and really talk to them. That's going to make you feel like you're being the parent you wanted to be. And that's just a parenting aspect. If you're also fully present in other things, are you fully present when you show up to work? So some of you guys come to the office or you sit at your desk at home and you're like, I'm going to work. But you open up your emails. Why'd you do that? Why'd you do that? Those people that when you open up your emails are going to take all of your actions and focus on them. Did you do your actions first? Did you send the note cards out to the people that you wanted to send the note cards to? No. You only have to send 3 a day. You only have to make 5 text messages a day. You only have to make 2 phone calls a day. If you send note cards every day, send some text messages every day, make a few phone calls every day, that is it. It would probably take you maybe 2 hours to do that, to have the biggest, best, most beautiful, successful business you could ever imagine, but you don't. You get to your computer and you open up social media, you open up your emails, or I don't even know, you clean your desk, reorganize it. What do you do? You play Tetris on your phone? It is not getting you where you need to be because you're not being present you're not being present in what you told yourself you were going to be present in. So cut out all those other things and start being present in what you told yourself you were going to be present in. So those distractions, whatever they are, they're stealing everything that is precious and meaningful to you. Lastly, I want you to check in with yourself frequently, constantly, all day, every single day. Who and what is in control of me right now? Right now. So when you're sitting at your desk and you're working throughout your day, you were supposed to be sitting at your desk for 8 hours a day or doing work for 8 hours a day. and you find yourself on TikTok, or you find yourself answering an email, or you find yourself doing something, pause and say, wait a minute, who's in control of me right now? And does it equal the life I told myself I want to live? And then you immediately stop doing whatever that happens to be, because if it does not align with what you told yourself you wanted it to align with, then that has to stop immediately. That's how you stop these bad habits, and that's how we're going to realign the positive habits. Now, of course, we have to respond to some of these frustrating emails here and there, but do it last. Do it last. Do you first, right? Focus on you first. Of course, you're going to have to, do stuff within your transaction. You're going to have to do some follow-up work. You're going to have to call the lender that never calls you back. You're going to have to check in on your appraisal. You're going to have to do some of those things, but we need to focus on the success that you're trying to build in your own life and the person that you told yourself you're going to be first. So check in with yourself and say, who and what is in control of me right now? And it should always be you and your goals. Okay. All right. Moving on. So I've talked a lot about more of psychology style items, I feel like, this morning. But it's important because in our world, the majority of the real estate agents, they don't really do that much business. So 20% of all the real estate agents, so if there's 100 agents, 20 of them are selling 80% of the houses, which means that the other 80 agents, they only get the leftovers. That's it. They get the leftovers. So 20 out of 100 agents are selling 80% of the houses, and the rest of them are purely getting leftovers. Why is that? And this never, ever, ever changes. And what's also interesting is we have a class right now going. We have about 25 newish agents that are going through the class. And we're getting ready to also do licensing classes. We're going to have about another 20 to 25 going through pre-licensing. I already know out of that group of classes, there are going to be 5 that are massively successful. 5 years down the road, they're making $500,000 a year, maybe more. And out of that same exact class, I teach the same exact things. We have the same exact conversations that some of them will do nothing. Some of them will do nothing. And they're probably going to do nothing in all aspects of their life because they don't take the time to, one, identify who they are as a person and stay true to that. They don't create the action plans and the habits that are going to lead them to the success, and they don't maintain it. And it's interesting because I can have an agent who's been in the business for 1 year making $100,000 a year. 1 year, $100,000 a year. Same class, same agent, same group of people, maybe even more skilled, maybe has better opportunities that might only do 1 deal that year. Nothing wrong with that if you're only a 1 deal a year person. I'm not knocking that. But why? Because I want the person who's doing 1 deal a year to make $100,000. Every single one of you should be making $100,000 a year or more. And I'm going to teach you all the same exact things to get there. So why is it always like this? And the reason why is because most brokerages and most coaches and most people, when you get into real estate, they just teach you how to write a contract. Maybe if you're lucky, they teach you how to write a contract. They might teach you how to do a reel on Instagram, woohoo! But they don't teach you the why to be successful, why to be authentic to yourself, why is being able to establish habits for success in your personal life and in your business life going to equal that money. They don't start with this class right here. So you can't ignore this class right here. You can't ignore your habits. You can't ignore your actions, because if you focus on all of those, you are going to be within the top 20% of real estate agents in any marketplace you ever want to go to, because it's all about the person that you are, the habits that you establish, the identity that you are fulfilling every single day, and it's being true to that, those habits of success in all of those aspects that's going to lead you to where you want to go. So this is why this class is so important. Okay. So now let's step into a little bit of an action plan for what I want you to do. And this is kind of sad to me a little bit, but if I were to actually sit down with every single one of you one-on-one and I said, define what your identity is. We've talked about it all day today. Tell me your likes, tell me your dislikes. Tell me the things that you believe yourself to be capable of doing. Tell me all of the things about you that you see. Tell me how you want to dress. Tell me how you want to look. Tell me the parent you want to be. Tell me how good of an athlete or a fitness person you are. Tell me about some of your hobbies. Tell me about all of these things. And quite honestly, I think a lot of you would still have a hard time telling me this? Because you have lived a life for so long where your self-worth has been so limited that you really don't know if you believe in yourself. You don't really know if you can be the person that you believe you are. So in your heart and in your soul, you believe something about you. You know you have capabilities. You know you have strengths. You know your likes. You know your characteristics. You know all of these things about yourself, but for some reason, you don't say them out loud and you don't live that life because there's some sort of a fear in you that maybe you won't be able to actualize that belief in yourself that you believe yourself to be. Or so you don't put it on paper. You don't say, hey, I'm going to make $500,000 this year. You don't say that I'm a great realtor. You don't say that I'm the best parent or that I'm a great golfer. You won't say those things about yourself because you have limiting beliefs about yourself for some reason, because you don't believe in your own self-worth. You've given it away for so long, that self-worth, that you won't even write it down if I gave you a piece of paper. So rather than like most of the coaches you go to, they'll give you a piece of paper and they say, define yourself, please, and tell me all the things about you that define you. And a lot of people, if you look around in audiences with big coaching like that, you'll see them not actually fill out the paper. Or you'll see them only write like 1 or 2 words on the paper because they can't really clearly identify themselves. And that is so sad. Or they want to identify themselves, but I don't know, there's something holding them back. So we're going to do this differently, right? We're going to do this differently because we do know what we like. We do know the people that we like. We know who our mentors would be. We know why we like them. We know the people that we're attracted to, not physically, but on a mental level, where we go, like, I see that person. I'm scrolling through Instagram. I'm scrolling through social media. I see what they're doing. I see who they are. All of them, from the way that they look, the way that they act, the way that they drive. I see them and I identify like that person. I feel like that kind of mirrors who I am. You kind of know that. You may not want to say the words about yourself, but when you see it in others, you go, yeah, that's doing it right. That right there, that's doing it right in my mind. That's what it should look like. That's what it should look like for me. So we're going to do things slightly differently in this class because I'm going to ask you to find the people on Instagram or on TikTok, whatever social media one you want to go with. I want you to find someone that you think is like, hey, they've got it right. That everything that they're doing, I just like it so much. But I'm not asking you to do the fake like, right? You are individuals. Every single one of you are so different. I want you to lean into you. So I don't want you to pick the perfect, like glossy looking, whatever it is that you feel like you're supposed to be like. That is not the action plan of today. You're not picking what you think you should be like. You are finding the person that resonates with you, fully with you, okay? And that should be different for every single one of you. You should not look alike to somebody else. We might be close, there might be similarities, but you're gonna pull from a lot of different places. And here's the thing is, you know what? Facebook actually knows you better than you know you. And you can tell because their ads pop up perfectly based upon what's going on in your life. They know you so well that they're showing you the right ad at the right time in your life. Same thing with Instagram, same thing with TikTok. They know exactly who you are and they probably know you better than you know you, which is crazy. So our activity of the day is one thing. I sent out an email this morning. All of you guys should have a form called Analyzing Identity. If you are live in the class today, there should be forms in that class for you to look at, okay? So grab a few of the forms. I emailed them out, so if you want the digital copy, you can download it when you're back at your desk at any point in time. This is your homework, and don't skip this step. It's pretty important because everything you do from today going forward in your career and in your life should absolutely mirror what we're gonna do today, right? So I want you to find an iconic person that you admire. And I want you to examine why you're attracted to that person. Okay? And it could be anybody. It could be a sports athlete. This is not real estate related. It could be a president. It could be anyone. You name it. It could be your parents. It could be anyone you want to. What's an iconic person that you know of and admire, and examine why you're attracted to that person. And you're going to find them on social media. So you're going to find that person on Instagram. I'm going to give you a good example, okay? No, don't use my examples of something that you're supposed to mirror again. One person who I feel like is iconic that that I like a lot. For some reason, I look at their profile and I see the way that they live their life and I see the things that they're doing. And I think, hey, you know what? I kind of like that. I like this aspect of it. And you don't necessarily have to like 100% of the aspect, but you want to figure out what aspects of it you did like. But one of those people for me is Ivanka Trump. Okay. Now that doesn't have to be yours. You could be a Kim Kardashian type of gal. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. There's obviously lots of different people in this world, but I like I like the quiet elegance of that. I like the way she dresses a lot. I like the way she acts. I like the way she presents herself. I like that when she was traveling and she goes to different countries, I like the respect that she would give to other people. I like the way that she dressed according to the people that she happened to be with. I like the love and respect that she gave to other people. I like the things that she supported. I like the way when I look at her profile, the way that she posts things. And I want you to identify exactly what you liked. Maybe it could even be the exact clothing that they're wearing. Or maybe it's the way that they wrote the paragraphs underneath it. Maybe it's the words that they use. Maybe it's something like that. But your iconic person very much could be more like a Kim Kardashian, right? You could have a person out there and you'd be like, I like the boldness of that. I like the out there features of that. I like the way that she portrays herself. I like the looks that she's given. I like that feel. That's great. You need to identify which of them you are, right? Not which of them you are, which of the ones that you go, hey, I like that. I just very simple. It doesn't have to be super deep, but I like that. And once you realize that you like something, then we're going to identify why you liked it. There's other people. You could be a Taylor Swift type of a person. Maybe there's a country singer. Maybe there's a rapper. Maybe you pick the person who you feel like is relatively iconic in our world and why you're attracted to that icon of a person, right? What do they do? What stands out to you? So if you're like Taylor Swift, well, she's also very iconic, but you would say, okay, she's a pretty great person. She's accomplished an amazing amount of things with her career, but you could see that Taylor Swift is a very different person than an Ivanka Trump is, right? Very different person from a Kim Kardashian. They're all incredibly successful, but they're very different. And you need to figure out which one you identify with so that you can identify the qualities that you find most attractive, because the reality of it is you're attracted to the things that reflect back on what you believe as a person. So by identifying these people that are out there on social media, you're really identifying yourself, right? You're saying, hey, that's kind of like me. And you like people who are like you. So you're going to be able to help identify yourself through other people. It's called mirroring or modeling. Okay. Next, I want you to find and follow realtors that stand out to you and define what it is with them that caught your interest. And a lot of people think that a realtor has to look the same, act the same, feel the same style of reel, same way of dress, same way of doing all the things, but that's not true. All realtors have a very different image that they're portraying on social media, and I want you to figure out which one you're going to be in business. Not because you're trying to be a different person, but I'm trying to help you analyze what your personality is like to mirror and model that. All right, next up, I want you to find and follow accounts that reflect other aspects of your personality. It can be fitness, it can be parenting, it can be sports, it can be fashion, it can be anything that you want. I want you to find and follow those accounts. And the reality is you already follow all of these accounts anyways, but I want you to define why we're following them. So next, we're going to use that form to unveil characteristics. So this on your screen on the left-hand side is called Analyzing Identity, or maybe do it in paper and then take a picture of it and file it somewhere for yourself for later, because you're going to forget why you're following things. So you're going to use this Analyze Identity form to make sure you're staying true to yourself over the next year or while we're creating our business model. So you're going to reflect back on this and you're going to forget. So I just don't want you to do this by scrolling through Instagram and be like, oh yeah, I like the way they dress. Oh yeah, I like this. I liked that. We're going to really feel this out to the full ability. And I want to show you a few examples of realtor pages that show a clear difference in the realtor that you could be. This is not because I think that they're pages that you should like. This is not because I feel like they're pages that you should necessarily follow. This is not me trying to tell you that you need to be like any of these agents that I'm about ready to show you. This is to show you 3 very different styles of real estate agents that are out there. And I can tell you that every single one of them are insanely successful as far as a profitability standpoint, but they do that by clearly defining who they are. And I think you're going to be able to see that by their pages. Okay. So let me dive in a little bit to Instagram. So on the screen right here, I have a realtor and this is Steven Diaz. In the meantime, you guys can go ahead and follow him. He is, obviously he has a look to him, right? He is an awesome realtor. He's a very successful realtor. He makes a ton of money, but he raps all the time. He creates raps, real estate raps, based upon rap songs, and he dresses like you see on the screen right here. It's a casual style of dress, but he's always got on his cool shoes. He's obviously got tattoos. He is unapologetically himself. You can see him rapping live right here. Then he sees if Juvenile was a realtor, and it's kind of fun. Like, you can clearly see his personality in his page. And if you click on him, you'll see some of his rap songs. Go find him and listen to a couple of them. They're hilarious, and he's on point with all of them. He's unapologetically being him. And he does business. This is literally a rap song, and he does so much business, it's crazy. He's an incredible realtor, and that's how he looks and dresses every day. When you look at him, would you say he is truly being his authentic self? Yeah, absolutely. He's not trying to be anybody else. So when you're filling out your form that I've given you to fill out right here, you would type in his social profile so you can find it again, just in case. So you do the Steven Diaz realtor right there. And on the left-hand side, I've asked you to describe elements that attract you to their vibe. So if you feel like this is you, and you feel like, hey, I've got a lot of similarities to this person right here, why? And I want you to label everything that you like about it, from the way that he dresses. Look, he's got a hat on, a hat on, a hat on. He's got his chain on, a chain on, a chain on. He's got his watches. He's got his cool shoes. He's got the type of outfits that he's like. What is he doing in his videos that attracted you to it? Is it the way he's being authentic? Is it what is it about you that you like about it? Is it that he's being a little bit silly? Like, what makes you like this page? And I want you to list every single thing that attracted you to the page, right? His professionalism or whatever you feel like it was. Now, on the right-hand side in the top, I want you to describe him with verbs only verbs. So I want you to say, authentic is probably a pretty good one, but he's also got like, I don't even know, like a hip hop style or something like that. Or maybe you're on a page of somebody like an Ivanka Trump and you're like, she is strong, but she's graceful. Or maybe you're on something like that and you can say they're patient and they're kind. I like that they're loving. I like that they explain things. I like that something is coming out at you when you're looking at the page. So the top right is the verbs only. The bottom left is their look. So literally we're talking about the clothes that they are wearing. Because what happens to us is, and I'm not telling you guys to go buy a brand new wardrobe. That's not the goal. But you guys do buy clothes. You buy clothes at Christmas time. You buy clothes every now and then when you go to the store. And the problem is you guys go into the stores and you buy the stuff that you're used to buying, which means you're always going to dress the way you dress right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. Maybe you're already being true to your identity. But if he stuck out to you and he said, hey, I really, really like that look. Then when you go to the store, you're going to say, hey, I like the jeans, I like the t-shirt, I like the chain, I like the hat. So when you're buying things, you need to be buying things that match the image that you want. Maybe you like the leather jacket with the hoodie underneath. Do you have a leather jacket and hoodies that you'd wear underneath? He's got a realtor hat. That's kind of fun. Like, he's wearing his sunglasses. He's wearing whatever it is. Like, there's something that he wore that you're like, hey, that looks really, really good, and I'm going to copy it. Like, this is very unique right here. So he's got his realtor hat on again, but he's got a hoodie, but he's also got a blazer over the top of it. So he's saying, hey, I'm professional. I've got my blazer on, but there's my hoodie underneath. There's very much him being true to himself in a post like this, right? So there's things that you're going to go through that you're going to say, I liked this about him. And this is what he wears all the time. And you want to kind of copy some of those feels. And because if this is what you found that you like, then this is something that you should try to mirror more in yourself. I don't want you to just keep being a half version of yourself. Okay, let's go to a different one. All right, this is my personal favorite one. So if I was to pick a realtor that I said, God, I really like the way that she's doing this. I like the way that her page looks. It's attractive to me. The page in of itself. I like the way that she sells real estate. You can see, bigger. Very clean look, I like that she has a tendency to stay towards a color. I like that about the page. You don't have to do something like that, but if her color doesn't match, she has an overlay on top of it that just black, white, and neutrals. Every now and then she might do a pop of color, but as you scroll through here, I kind of like the black cover look on all of this, or if she's wearing black, she'll be on the cover. But some of them, if you actually click play on them, she's not really wearing black in the actual videos themselves. So it just depends upon the look of some of these things, but this is a page that I like quite a bit. And some of the things that I like that she does, if you were to click on a video, is you can see who she is as a person, but she always integrates family and a lifestyle within her page. So she's getting ready to show a house, and this is her video for her listing. She's walking kids home. I think those actually are her kids in this particular one. But in other videos, she literally has other people's kids in her videos, which is cute. I like the way that she makes herself look professional. I like the clothes that she wears. So when you're talking about clothes, for example, when you look at something like this, if there's a particular video that I happen to see and I'm like, gosh, I really liked that look, maybe the next time I'm shopping, I would try to say, hey, I'm going to try to accomplish that look. Like, so if you're looking at something like this and you go, oh, that looks pretty good to me. I like the all black. I like the monotone look. I like something like this. Then maybe I should work on making sure my wardrobe matches something like that. So I'll never be able to create this type of a video content if I don't have the look that I feel like I want to happen to look like. Now, you don't have to look and want to be like this. You have to find you. So this is Utah real estate page. And there's other things. It's not just what she's wearing. I like that her videos is all a little bit of her. It's a lot of kids and family. And I also like her highlights of real estate. So all of her little real estate videos, I like the way that they're just real estate with a little video of herself. She does a lot of the aerial shots like this, a little bit of her, and a great picture of the houses themselves. So I think she does a really good job with it. Just little things that I like. So I'd list out all of those things. All right. Here's another example. This is Katie Day. I'm sorry, this is not Katie. This is Katie Day. She calls herself the Houston Realtor, but everybody really knows her as Move Me to Texas. And she started a page not that long ago. You can see she has a ton of followers already, but hers was, again, very authentic, very simple to record. So it's always just her talking about a very simple element of real estate, like what is a multiple offer or what is XYZ. It's very easy content. You can see it's always a picture of her. She doesn't worry about makeup. She doesn't worry about her clothes. She doesn't worry about some of the impressions that she's making. You can see she's a very authentic person to herself. Again, she has every single one of her shirts. Every single one of them are with her slogan, Move Me to Texas, Move Me to Texas. Throughout her whole entire Instagram account, that's what she wears, is a Move Me to Texas shirt constantly. She's not thinking too hard about this. She's being herself. One of the things that she happens to love, and she integrated it into her real estate business, which I totally get a kick out of, is she loves shoes. So she'll even unbox shoes, or she makes her shoes a part of a lot of her videos, which is kind of funny. But it goes to show you that she's allowing her personality to shine through, and she definitely keeps it simple. One of the things that I also encourage you to do when you find the person that you like, I want you to scroll down to the very beginning of their account, because you can see how they've grown it over time. You can see where it started and where it went to. So you'll see constantly, this is what our videos are. This is a quick clip on what is a motivated seller. If you're moving to a new city or state, all short, quick clips that are very easy for her to record just with her phone, just with her, and she doesn't need anywhere fancy to do it at. It's just a quick video. And try to find some of her unboxing ones, but you can see how she rolls through hers now, right? And this is great. This is a great channel. She does incredible for herself. So she focuses on these quick hit videos, whereas back to the page one, she focuses on real estate. So sometimes these are just open houses. They might be her listings, but they might not be. But she's constantly doing great video content of houses. She doesn't do a lot of videos of this is about the real estate market or something like that. Hers are more walking the streets of neighborhoods. She literally walk through like custom neighborhoods, take videos, and then go back and edit them, things like that. Where Steven obviously focuses on his raps. He's literally rapping in half of his Instagram account. And who would think that you could get away with doing like real rap songs and rewording them as real estate and be a successful realtor? The answer is you can, is because they're being very, very authentic to themselves. Okay, so those are just 3 quick examples of what you should be looking for. And I want you to really dive in as deep as you can to the smallest details of why do you like that account. I really want you to stare at their account for a long time and say, I liked for example, with Pages. I loved that hers were a lot of aerial videos. When she's at the front door, instead of saying, come on in and walking through the door, she does like a, let's go. And then she like does a point up and it immediately shoots up to an aerial. Such a cool little image. I like the way it looks. It's almost on every single one of her videos. I thought it was really unique. So find the things that attracted you to the pages and dial in as much as you can, because what you're going to find, and I have 3 different pages here, right? 3 very different pages. I'm not going to analyze the identity of Steve's, the rapper, or the Move Me to Texas for me personally, right? Because they're 3 very different people. If I tried to do that, I would be very lost as to what I wanted to portray myself as a realtor. So if I was doing me, I would find as many pages like Utah Real Estate Page, and I would friend them, maybe find 5 or 10 of them, and figure out exactly which ones I liked and why I liked just these ones. If you feel like you're more of a Move Me to Texas type of a person, which is also an amazingly cool page, you need more pages like that. Because once you have these analyzing identities, let's say you pick 3 iconic people, right? So political figures, sports figures, whatever the case may be, and 3 to 5 realtor people that you're going to pick, and 3 to 5 personal ones that you're going to pick. If you do this analyzing form for all of those, you're going to see that the verbs that stand out to you are who you are, right? That is going to be who you are, because the verbs are going to repeat themselves. So just like I said, like my iconic person might be Ivanka Trump, if my real estate person was Utah Real Estate Page, I'd also say that her page looks pretty elegant. Pretty classy little page. It's nice and clean. It looks like she's a really strong type of a person. I like some of the things. I like her family lifestyle that she leads in there. So I like the way these things are pairing up. And you can see that there's probably some similarities between like an iconic figure like an Ivanka Trump and like a Utah Real Estate Page. You can find some similarities in those 2 things, right? Whereas let's say you're a Steven Diaz realtor or a Move Me to Texas and you go, hey, I liked the Steven Diaz realtor person because I like whatever the case would be. And you're going to list out all of those things that you liked about that. So you're going to find you by the time you're done with this exercise. So then once you're done with the exercise of identity, you're going to take a blank piece of paper and you're going to have 1 piece of paper and you're going to pull from all of these ones that you've done. So you should have, let's say 10 to 15 identity forms of somebody else. And then you're going to combine them all to 1 form that is going to be your social profile. That's going to be you. If you don't know what your social profile name is, that's fine. Don't get stuck on it. Write your name, Cheyanne Terracciano. And instead of describing elements that attract you to their vibe, that's going to be my vibe. That is what I'm going to portray in my life every single day. That's the person I'm going to be. Those are going to be the likes and the things. That's going to be the family style lifestyle. That's going to be the whatever that happens to be is going to be listed right here in my form about me, because I'm going to model that going forward in my business. And then I'm going to describe their look, because the next time I go to the store, I'm not going to wander around and I'm not going to buy a shirt or an outfit to go take pictures or to go do my listing video that doesn't match the image that I wanted to portray. I'm going to find a cute blazer and I'm going to find the right pants, and I'm going to find I'm totally obsessed with belts these days. I'm going to find some great belts and I'm going to make myself look the way that I feel like I should, right? By going through what their look was head to toe. Those verbs are going to be the defining words that define you, that you're going to live your life by every single day. I want to lead. Interesting enough, I did I think it was Brian Bouchard. I did a Brian Bouchard training camp years ago. And one of the things that he makes you focus on was, what are the 3 verbs that describe you? You can only name 3. What are they? What are those 3 verbs? I still really can't come up with my 3rd one, but, and he didn't have us analyze other accounts. So he made us focus on what we wanted to be first, like just you. And the 2 verbs that I've always thought of for myself was I always wanted to lead, whether it's leading my family or leading as a coach or leading as a person or leading in my own life. I'm a leader of myself, right? What are the verbs that I wanted to define me? My 2 verbs have always been strength and grace. I don't want to be just a strong person without having the grace to give back to other people. I want to lead with strength, but I also want to lead with grace. And I want my whole life to be around those 2 things. And maybe there's another one that I could add to that. I don't know what it would be though. And I've had a hard time finding that last verb if I actually need one. I don't know. But so those are my 2. I have 2. My lines that only have 2. Maybe I could add more to it. Like I want to be patient, or there's other things about myself that I'd like to be that I could think of, but they're not my strongest ones. They're all far second place to having strength and grace in my life. So it's interesting now because in this modeling exercise that I'm asking you guys to do now, when I find the channels that I am attracted to, like that real estate page one from Utah, or when I like an Ivanka Trump as far as a mentor, and I now reverse that and I ask myself, oh, see, that is why I liked them. I like them because they portray a strong person, but they also portray a graceful person in their behaviors, and I'm highly attracted to that. But if you can't know those things about yourself, if you don't know the elements that are important to you, if you don't know the way you feel good when you dress, that makes you feel like you, like, dang, I feel good today. I feel like I can accomplish anything today. I feel so complete. If you don't know that, you can find it through modeling. Okay. So that is our homework assignment for today, is to analyze identity. I really encourage you to use the forums. Create your own form for you, because that is going to be what we're going to focus on going forward. And lastly, let me turn back on our little slideshow here to finish out the class, is I want you to turn off your autopilot. I want you to live a life with intention. You're not living anybody else's life. I want you to be open to new ideas and new people, because clearly the ideas and the people that you're around right now is not all you have in your life. So a simple hello and an open yourself up to new worlds, new experiences. Make new experiences for yourself. You need to go places that you think you're interested in. Sometimes, usually about once a year, I take myself off to a convention with a lot of people who are just like me. And I make myself go to something like that, and I make myself be present there, because it's feeding back the person that I identify as myself. And it's making sure that I'm having those experiences to bank that when I think about my self-worth and my identity, I'm going to reconnect with those all the time. So I make sure I do the things that's going to reconnect that. And remember, in the end, it's not the years in your life that count, it's the life in your years. So you have to put down the distractions. You have to make every single day be the best day that you can make it. Don't let anybody take that away from you. Don't let TikTok, don't let Instagram, don't let the people in your life. Every single moment needs to be lived fully in that life, because we're not getting any more years added on. They're only getting depleted every single day. Thank you for joining me today on the road to soul. If you like the information, hit subscribe below. We're going to make sure to give you a lot of great informative information on our channel.